Introducing my presentation. So my name is Sunah Chung, an assistant professor at the University of Northern Iowa. In this presentation, I will share my study related to children's reading of visuals in informational picture books and biographies. So picture books deliver stories through the interplay of pictures and written text, and scholars have emphasized the early reading experience of informational picture books in school settings and at home. But there are not many studies to learn more in-depthly about what's happening in home reading context. So this study is focusing on a family's reading of informational picture books at home context. And parent-child interactions are primary literacy practices that children can have in social context. And as a kind of knowledgeable adult, and parent provides appropriate guidance and encouragement to help the child to complete challenging tasks or maximize their learning. So parents' sensitivity to children's cues while they are reading the books together may optimize what the children learn from the interactions in shared reading at home. So in this context, this study kind of has followed these two questions. Like, how do children read the visuals in informational picture books? And the second question is, like, how do parents support children's interpretation of visuals to facilitate their understanding? So 3 families participated in this qualitative case study in the Midwest of the United States. And 3 parents pursuing, in this case, 3 mothers pursuing education degrees in higher education of the time when they participate in this research. And specifically, Emma and Sophia have teaching experience in secondary education setting. But Sunny does not have a teaching background, but pursuing her higher degree in educational psychology program. So there are some kind of similarities because they are pursuing higher ed degrees, but at the same time, 2 family members, mothers, have a teaching experience as a school teacher, but the other mother does not have a teaching experience. And even though they also reported that they read books regularly at home, but Sunny, in this case, a Korean immigrant participant, she kind of revealed, like explained that she does not have much reading experience with her child, but she tries to read books every day. That's a kind of her personal goals nowadays at the time of the participation. So that's a kind of a background of these family groups. And for this study, I collected multiple data, including the online survey to learn about their demographic information and home literacy environments, and monthly reading logs to see their regular readings, books with the child at home, and the video observation of their shared reading at home. So I visited to the home for observing their actual reading practices. And I had a post-observation interviews with the 3 mothers to learn about their experience of shared reading. And I also asked each mother and child to select a book for their shared reading. In other words, I do not give books to read, but I focused on what books they selected for their reading at home to enhance more natural reading contexts. And the following 6 informational picture books and biographies were selected and read by each family member. And Liam, in this study, he was 4 years old at the point of the participation, but late 4 years old. But he is too young to read it by himself. So his mother, Emma, read his book choice for him. But again, each 3 child selected the book for shared reading from that home bookshelf. And each 3 mother also selected a book from their home bookshelf to read a book to the child. So I report 3 families' cases of reading visuals in informational picture books at home, and the findings show that all 3 children's interest in visual and their misunderstanding of reading the visuals in the following 3 categories. So number 1 category is children's surface level responses to the visuals. And the second category is children's use of knowledge to verify the visuals. And the third category is children's misinterpretation of visuals. So first finding, children's surface level responses to visual. Children in this study showed the responses to the visuals, both illustrations and photographs. And children's simple responses were observed 14 times across the readings. And this is one example from the study on the screen. Mary, 6 years old girl who has the Korean heritage, commented to the visual by saying, "Looks cute." The child's surface level responses are often captured in the collected video data. But this type of response was not kind of developed for the further discussion about the visuals and why the child responded to the visuals in that way. And the parents maybe should pay attention to the child's response, even though it is a simple surface level comment on the visuals. But it was not developed throughout the all the observations across the sessions, across the 3 families' shared book reading practices. Children's active demonstration of knowledge were also observed, and it happened 5 times across the reading data. Liam, 4 years old boy, and his mother Emma read this informational picture book several times. So Liam already has a kind of a background knowledge about this content of this picture book. So Emma, the mother, encouraged him to read the word oxidize. Liam confidently kind of engaged in shared reading by explaining the process of oxidizing across the illustrations instead of reading the word. Maybe he was too young to learn or remember oxidize, but maybe Liam understand what it means. His background knowledge about the process of oxidizing kind of supports his active interpretations of the visuals using his background knowledge. So the red kind of rectangular parts is the Liam's explanation about that image is like it turned like this and this is starting, and then it rains, and then it became a kind of a brown fading away. So it clearly shows that Liam has the background knowledge and the meaning of oxidizing, but he does not understand or recognize the word itself. But by using the visuals, the child presents his understanding and interprets the content of reading informational picture books. Children's knowledge may help them validate the illustrations and photographs, but not always confirm the credibility of images. Like Helen, 6-year-old girl, her prior knowledge or the readability of text may lead her to misinterpret the photograph related to Rosa Parks' arrest in this picture book biography. The text in the caption next to the photo says, Rosa Parks is arrested for refusing to give up her bus seat. So Helen, the child, interpreted the photo by saying, there is the policeman and he's taking her to jail. So the child's interpretation may not be wrong, but her mother, Sophia, countered it. Like Sophia asked to the child for the details of the photograph, and the child explained that he's cuffing her hands. So the child literally tried to interpret the photograph on the picture book biography. So the mother responded by explaining the process of arrest at the time and the fingerprinting process. So their conversation continues with the child's inquiry on a fingerprint. So with the limited knowledge of fingerprinting process, maybe the child interpret the photo by reading the caption and using her prior knowledge on what happened to Rosa Parks in American history. So without the mother's description of the photo, maybe the child could not get additional knowledge or information from the visual, such as a fingerprinting process. So children's confusion and suspicions on the illustration and photographs are observed 10 times in this study. Yeah, as you can see on the screen, like visuals sometimes distracted children's understanding of the content, and this category can be kind of overlapped from the previous example. But this example is from the 4-year boy's interpretation of the images. The photograph of the wire sculpture in Alexander Carter, Meet the Artist, has a thin lines of wire, as you can see on the left side of images. But the child, Liam, interpreted the photo as a drawing by a thin marker rather than the wire sculpture of architect. Like, although the mother read the text describing a wire sculpture, what it is and how it can be made, but still the child couldn't get it, what it is, because the photograph presented on this informational picture book does not show 3-dimensional, it's 2-dimensional. So from the child's perspectives, the child could not understand this image, even though the image is placed there to support the child's understanding or the reader's understanding of this informational literature. Another example is Mary's question, the 6-year-old girl's question about this picture book. Is this actual and real picture when reading a book about snakes? So the child's facial expression implies her cautious distrust of this photograph of a snake and its prey. The photo may be chosen to back up the content about some kind of a snakes having special eyes and seeing prey in total darkness. But the close-up photo like this with a complete dark backgrounds probably increase Mary's suspicion of the visual's authenticity. So the current study, my study examined kind of 3 children's responses to illustrations and photographs in informational picture books while reading the book with their mother. So children's responses to visuals are sometimes encouraged by a mother and developed to discuss the topic further and clarify the meaning of the visuals. And again, as commented earlier, simple responses to the visuals were not kind of developed for the further discussions many times. So that kind of a moment can be a potential talking point the parents may pay attention to develop more kind of a conversation, like by responding to the child's comment, like discussion on visuals can promote the child's engagement in reading and agency to contemplate the comments rational, like show the interest of that specific topic. So parents may pay attention to that moment as a teaching moment. And of course, children's prior knowledge supports children's reading of the visuals, but sometimes that knowledge can block the visuals interpretation. So this observation implies that like children may not gain intended information from the visuals because informational picture books visuals are intended to provide additional or compatible information to support the reader's comprehension of the content. And furthermore, the presented study shows that illustrations and photographs can sometimes distract children's understanding of the content. So given the premise of informational picture books, like delivering factual information about people, events, family, animals, and history, the authenticity and the clarity of the visuals are essential to children's comprehension. So the present study kind of illuminates the potential challenges that children can have when they read informational picture books. So this kind of points also claim that the potential benefits of reading with adults to support children's interpretations of visuals when they read informational picture books at home. All right, so that's about my study for understanding children's learning and the family's kind of support when they read informational picture books at home. Thank you.